So good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
Morning. Good. How are you?
Good. Trisha, you look like you're are you in Big Al again?
I'm in Big Al. We're in New Hampshire and it's freezing. It's 37 degrees.
Wow. That's a little cold.
But I hear it's nice at home, so that's cool.
Yeah,
79 and sunny today.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. And you said
79 and sunny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lenny, you're going golfing today?
Yeah, later. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Great weather for that. Great weather. So, what else is new?
So if my internet cuts out, guys, I'm trying, but if it cuts out, just continue without me.
However will we do that?
Because you're all frozen right now.
Oh no, you're not.
It'll be tough.
Well, you're not frozen on our end, so.
Yeah, you're not frozen on our end. Can you hear us?
Yes.
You can hear us. You just can't see us. Okay.
Yeah, you're just
All right. Well, you look spectacular, Trisha. So it's all good. Are you ready to start?
Not as spectacular as Leonard. Yeah, let's start rolling. Yeah.
All right. So, we have a special guest this week, which Leonard Tabone. Yeah. We're going to introduce you in a little bit. We're going to real quickly go through the numbers. There hasn't been a lot of changes, but we wanted you to come on today to talk to us about interest rates and what you're seeing, because you did a phenomenal video last week, and we just wanted to have you share that with us. So real quickly, Trisha, let's go through and two things. First off, we want to acknowledge Orlando that there was so little of a change between the numbers.
We are not doing
percentages. It was just, I know that you like your numbers, Orlando, but percentages did not happen this week, my friend. So there's a first. And then other thing is we want to real quickly give a shout out to Therese, our broker. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Therese. We love you. All right. So active listings. Last week this past week, 554 versus 538 last week. So a couple more.
Not a big change.
One of the things that we're not actually tracking, but if you recall, last week we had said that there were 1,990 listings that were available in Montgomery, Bucks, and Lehigh County. This week there are 2,295. So there were an additional 315 homes that hit the market and stayed on the market.
Yep.
Which goes to
coming soon. We're up from 104 last week to 147. So buyers are going to have some more choices pretty soon.
Nice. And then under contracts. Okay, just a very slight change. We've got our
from 55 last week to 69 this week. Again, those are the ones that fell through for some reason. So either financing, suitable housing contingency, something like that.
All right, this one is interesting. Price reductions. So we saw a significant decline in price reductions. And I think a lot of that is because, first of all, 203 the week before, but aren't you seeing a little shift in the market where people are realizing that it's not as hot as it was? And so maybe they're a little more reasonable in regards to what's happening.
I took two last week and we're trying to price them a little bit more conservatively because of all of the price reductions that we're seeing.
Days on market, look at that jump.
So now, from a week to about 2 now. So
right. And with that, that's because of that 203 price reduction. Those were the houses that were sitting that now they're taking longer because they didn't price accordingly. So again, Tricia,
price is important.
You say it every week. What is it that you say?
You can't underprice a home in this market.
Correct. You can't, but you can definitely overprice it. And one of the new things that we had started tracking was months of inventory. And it just goes to show you that as we go further into the month, last week, we thought we had 5 months of inventory, but the reality is the longer we go into the market, it's going to show a reduction. So this looks more of a realistic, 3 months of inventory. But with that said, those were the numbers.
Get to our special guest, Leonard Tabone with Revolution Mortgage. He did a phenomenal video last week on the interest rates. The Fed raised the interest rate. So what does that mean for us? And he did a really good video. So Leonard, take it away.
Good morning, Tricia. Good morning, Shelby. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think those numbers speak for themselves. Obviously, we're starting to see a little bit of a cool down in the market. I mean, when you go from a market that was white hot, that legitimately any property, any location, any price range was selling within a matter of days. So now we're seeing obviously that shift. And I think, again, it's for the greater good, right?
Yes.
So in the video, and again, my video was almost 13 minutes, so no, I'm not going to talk for that long, but simply put, a lot of people think when the Fed raises interest rates that directly affects the mortgage interest rates. So very easily put is that the Fed rate is the short-term rate. Mortgage rates are long-term rates. Those are based off the 10-year Treasury. So there are two different factors. Now, will the Fed affect certain other things when it comes to the economy? Absolutely. And you can see an increase in rates, but you're not going to see a 0.75% interest rate increase the day the Fed raises the rates 0.75%. So that's going to, I had a couple of people call me like right away. Oh my God, what's happening to interest rates? What we saw is the day that the Feds changed their interest rates retracted slightly, and they actually, kind of went back to where they were at the beginning of the week. But really, the most important part of this is stabilization in the market. So nothing has slowed down the housing market since COVID started. When you had 3% interest rates, everyone was buying a house. When you had 4% interest rates, everyone was buying a house. 5%, and even now with interest rates over 6%, we're still seeing a strong market. 15 days on market. I mean, that's still very strong. I mean, I don't know what the historic average is, let's say over a 10-year period, but you're looking at some really strong numbers. So as interest rates increase, prices are going to stabilize, maybe even a slight retraction in some areas. So now a greater amount of people can enter the market. I mean, how many people have you worked with that put in offers that were $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking price, and they weren't even in the ballpark?
I know.
Right.
I know.
That's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. So with low interest rates, we had a 24% increase in value. That's 6 times the average of 4%. So if we had another 24% increase, if interest rates stayed where they were, let's say they were 3.5 or 3.25, whatever the heck they were in January, if they just stayed there, who knows where appreciation would have went to this year, and it would have priced everything out of the market. So wow, I got this 3.25 rate, but you get that $250,000 starter home, which that's pretty much what we're looking at right now, would have been $350,000 by the end of the year.
Right. Yeah, we need this to happen. We need some stabilization for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to tell a client that started their process back in November and December and couldn't get houses. Now they're paying between $200 to $400 more per month. And in a vacuum, that wouldn't be terrible, right? But we've seen increases in other areas of our lives, which now continually increases. I did some math, and it could affect somebody's out of pocket a month now between January and now, $800 to $1,000 when you factor the other inflationary issues. Well, you've got food prices, gas prices, housing prices, interest rates. So you start adding that all up, depending how much you drive or how much you eat and what kind of house you want to buy, it could make a big impact to you. So, in the short term, this hurts. In the long term, though, I think with the stabilization of the market, bringing more buyers into the market, I mean, how many people can qualify for an FHA mortgage, a VA mortgage, a USDA mortgage? And 9 times out of 10, it's not even worth submitting an offer because they're not going to get it, even if they were the highest price. Right. So that doesn't make any sense to me. I think that when you stabilize the market, you bring those buyers into the market and you get a more balanced approach. Yeah,
for sure. And I always go back to, you got to budget everything. And I think that was one of the most important things that to me, when you said in your video, sometimes it doesn't make sense for everybody to buy a house. It doesn't make sense. You have to make sure that it works for you. And,
Yeah. I've been using this terminology. I mean, I never had someone say to me, wow, I hate my house, but I love my interest rate.
Right. I remember you saying that on the other video. Yeah.
Whoever says that, right?
Yeah.
I think people need to realize and understand what's important, right? So if they had an increase in price of their home, how can they, look at their own personal finances and figure out what they can do about it? It's very easy to point fingers. We do that very well. Social media allows us to point fingers at everybody, right? But we look at ourselves and go, okay, I need to buy a house this year. What do I have to do with my finances? I tell everyone, either go through your credit card statement or go through your bank account and see where you spend your money. I mean, most banks and credit cards, you can have even categories. You can see where everything goes, which is kind of scary.
Yeah,
So,
it'll break it down for you.
yeah. And I really think, when you look at this as personal responsibility, right? So we look at all the other factors we can talk about, rates and feds and everything else. But if we, start educating our clients and really try to figure out how they're going to buy a house and how they can take control of their finances, to me, that's the key. Because you can complain and you can say, oh, the world's against me and all these prices are high. But, when you start taking accountability and start doing things for yourself, you're in a better position. Plus, I think from a psychological standpoint, you put yourself in, you gain more self-confidence and power out of that because you're controlling.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to spend $100 a week at Starbucks.
There you go.
Or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Leonard, thank you so much for explaining
what
has been happening and the federal interest rate and mortgage rates. And guys, as we continue to do this on a weekly basis, if there's questions that you have, shoot them over to us. Leonard is just one of so many phenomenal experts that we have in our world that can help us educate you and continue to educate us. So Leonard, thank you very much for your assistance. Let's give you the opportunity real quickly in case somebody wants to get to know you better. How can they reach you?
Okay, so they can get a hold of me. My cell phone number is 484-634-6322. Email is LTABONE, so Tabone @revolutionmortgage.com. Pretty simple. I'm on pretty much all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So I mean, how I try to approach with clients, and as you kind of got an idea through, I look at where they are personally, try to figure out what's going to fit for them. A lot of lenders will just do a blanket pre-approval, say, oh, you pre-approve for 400,000. Try to break it down, give them some options, and really have them understand their credit and also their finances. So I take that next step. So, in this market, I think it's important that we give our clients a little bit extra and educate our clients. It's the Wild West out there.
Amen to that, my friend.
And if you want like a full version of what Leonard was talking about, the video that we watched that we thought was so great, go over to his social media and watch it. And I actually shared it on mine also because it was just awesome. So
thank you. I mean, you really put a high standard when you're like the best dressed. I'm like, oh my, I have.
He is the best dressed lender. Look at this guy.
Well, don't look too close. I mean, you know what I mean. It's Monday morning. It's kind of early. So just glance over the video, okay?
All right, guys. Well, that is this week's market update, and we will see you next Monday at 8:15 live. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a good week.